Kenya's journey as an independent nation began on December 12, 1963. Jomo Kenyatta, a towering figure in the fight for independence, became the country's first prime minister. His Kenya African National Union or KANU party took the helm, inheriting a complex landscape shaped by colonialism. Kenyatta's government focused on consolidating power and fostering national unity. The willing buyer willing seller land policy, intended to redistribute land equitably, often disadvantaged ordinary Kenyans. Kenyatta's rule, though marked by economic progress, saw the stifling of dissent. Leftist leaders like Bildad Kajia and Oginga Odinga found themselves marginalized. The assassination of Pio Gama Pinto, a prominent socialist politician, cast a long shadow over this period. When Kenyatta died in 1978, Daniel Arap Moi, his vice president, ascended to the presidency. Moi's tenure ushered in an era of single-party rule. KANU became the sole legal political party, tightening its grip on power. This period was characterized by political repression, with the government cracking down on dissent and curtailing freedom of expression. The economy faced significant challenges, leading to widespread hardship. However, the winds of change began to blow in the 1990s. Pro-democracy movements, fueled by growing discontent with Moi's rule, gained momentum. The government faced mounting pressure to embrace political pluralism. In 1991, Kenya reintroduced multi-party politics, paving the way for a new chapter in its political evolution. The Moi era, though marred by authoritarianism, laid the groundwork for the democratic aspirations that would shape the country's future. The transition to a multi-party system marked a turning point, signaling a shift towards greater political openness and competition. The dawn of the new millennium brought with it a changing of the guard in Kenyan politics. In 2002, Mwai Kibaki, a veteran politician and former vice president, secured a resounding victory in the presidential election. His win ended KANU's decades-long dominance, ushering in an era of renewed hope for democratic consolidation and economic progress. Kibaki's tenure was marked by significant strides in economic growth. His government implemented policies aimed at attracting foreign investment and promoting entrepreneurship. The introduction of free primary education was a landmark achievement, expanding access to education for millions of Kenyan children. However, the disputed 2007 presidential election cast a long shadow over Kibaki's legacy. The election, marred by allegations of rigging and irregularities, triggered widespread violence along ethnic lines. The post-election crisis plunged the country into chaos, leaving deep scars on the nation's psyche. To quell the unrest and prevent further bloodshed, a power-sharing agreement was brokered. Kibaki retained the presidency, while Raila Odinga, his main rival in the election, was appointed prime minister. This fragile coalition government, though successful in restoring a semblance of stability, highlighted the fragility of Kenya's democratic institutions and the deep-seated divisions within society. In 2013, Uhuru Kenyatta, son of Kenya's founding father, assumed the presidency. His election marked a return to political prominence for the Kenyatta family. Uhuru, as he is popularly known, made infrastructure development a cornerstone of his administration. Ambitious projects, including new highways, railways, and energy plants, were undertaken to modernize Kenya's infrastructure and boost economic growth. However, Uhuru's presidency was not without its share of controversies. The 2017 presidential election, which he won, was annulled by the Supreme Court due to irregularities. This unprecedented decision led to a fresh election, which was boycotted by the main opposition candidate Raila Odinga. Uhuru's victory in the repeat election further deepened political divisions. In a surprising turn of events, Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, once bitter rivals, reached a political truce in 2018. The handshake, as it came to be known, aimed to bridge political divides and foster national unity. This reconciliation led to the Building Bridges Initiative, or BBI, a constitutional reform process intended to address long-standing issues such as electoral violence and ethnic tensions. William Ruto, who had served as Uhuru Kenyatta's deputy president, emerged victorious in the 2022 presidential election. His victory, despite facing a formidable opponent in Raila Odinga, who was backed by Uhuru Kenyatta, marked a significant shift in Kenyan politics. Ruto campaigned on a platform of economic empowerment and promised to champion the interests of ordinary Kenyans, often referred to as hustlers. However, Ruto's presidency has been confronted with significant economic challenges. The global economic downturn, exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine, has taken a toll on Kenya's economy. Rising inflation, unemployment, and a growing cost of living have fueled public discontent. Ruto's government has faced growing public anger over its economic policies. The controversial 2024 finance bill, which proposed tax increases, sparked widespread protests. These demonstrations, largely organized by young people using social media, reflected a deep-seated frustration with the government's handling of the economy. The protests, met with a heavy-handed response from the security forces, underscored the growing tension between a disillusioned public and a government grappling with a complex set of economic and political challenges.